Grey Knights are bringing Caldor Drago, leading a squad of Terminators. Another squad of Terminators led by a Librarian, a Grandmaster NDK with Sigil of Exigence, 2 Nemesis Dread Knights, a 5-man Strike Squad, a 5-man Interceptor Squad, and Canis Rex. Imperial Knights are bringing 3 Warglaves, a Helvrin, Canis Rex, and 2 Cerastus Knight Castigators, 1 with Mysterious Guardian and 1 with Reverend Aura. Today's deployment is Search and Destroy. The mission is Linchpin, and the mission rule is Raise Banners. Imperial Knights are going first, drawing Extend Battle Lines and Sabotage for secondaries. Black Castigator is going to bondsman the Grey Helvrin. Bone Castigator is going to bondsman the Bone Warglaive. Castigator is going to move on to the objective for Extend Battle Lines, staying behind cover. Warglaive is going to move into the building and begin the sabotage action. Castigator will rush the center objective. Canis Rex will also get his little piece of the pie here. Not wanting to get charged, the Grey Knights are going to spend 1 CP for Mist of Deimos to bamf out the Interceptor Squad. Warglaive adjusts to screen out the backfield. Helvrin adjusts to screen and stay in cover. Warglaive just screens further and gives it a better position. Castigator opens fire on Caldor Drago's squad, killing a Terminator and leaving another at 1 wound remaining. That squad is now suppressed, receiving a -1 to hit. Castigator fails a 10-inch charge into Caldor's squad, and that will end the turn, having the Imperial Knights score 5 points on Extend Battle Lines and holding on to Sabotage until the end of the next turn. End of the Imperial Knights turn, the Grey Knights are going to pick up both NDKs and Caldor Drago's squad. Bottom of round 1, Grey Knights will draw Storm Hostile Objective and Recover Assets as their secondaries. Command phase for the Grey Knights, the Strike Squad will sticky their home objective, and Caldor Drago squad will regenerate a Terminator. Starting off movement for the Grey Knights, Canis Rex is going to move on to the objective and tow it in so he's able to see the Castigators. Grey Knights are going to spend 1 CP for Prognostical Arrival, bringing the Librarian squad 3 inches away from the Castigator, out OCing them and stealing the objective. Caldor Drago's squad comes down 9 inches away in the back corner for Recover Assets. Interceptor squad is going to come in off the objective simply to move blocks so there are no good charges on Canis. The Strike squad, Canis Rex, and Caldor Drago squad are all going to recover assets. The Librarian Vortex of Doom manages to knock off 6 wounds off of Canis Rex. The rest of the squad manages 1 wound. Both NDKs fire into Canis, bringing him down to 11 wounds remaining. Canis Rex fires into the Castigator and unfortunately fails to score a wound. No charges for the Grey Knights, so that will end the turn with them holding on to recover assets until the end of the next turn, but scoring 4 points for Storm Hostile Objective. At the end of the turn, Imperial Knights will score 3 points for Sabotage. Secondaries for this turn are No Prisoners and Recover Assets. In the command phase, Canis Rex fails his leadership test, becoming Battle Shock, and the Castigators repeat their bondsman abilities. The Knights control their home objective as well as 1 in No Man's Land, scoring them 8 points on primary. Start of the movement phase, the Castigator is going to move in on the NDKs and towards the home objective. The Warglaive is going to hop around the corner to get eyes on Canis Rex. The Helvrin will reposition to adjust for the screen as well as maintaining eyes on the Librarian. The rest of the Knights are going to remain stationary as to avoid triggering Mist of Deimos on the Librarian squad. Grey Knights are going to go ahead and spend their last CP on Rapid Ingress for the Grandmaster NDK, placing it behind Obscuring. Knights start the shooting phase by spending 1 CP on Squire's Duty, buffing all Arbingers firing into the Terminator squad. Helvrin fires into the squad, taking down the Terminator. Warglaive into the squad manages to take down a Terminator. It's Canis' turn to get his licks in, and he manages to take down 2 more Grey Knights. Castigator takes its turn firing into the squad, and that is going to be enough to pick up the rest of them to include the Librarian. Second Castigator fires into the NDK, managing to plink off 4 wounds. Warglaive into Canis Rex fails to score a wound. Castigator makes its charge into the NDK. Warglaive fails its charge into the Interceptor squad, and the second Castigator fails its charge into Caldor Drago. The Castigator nukes the NDK, wiping it off the board. This will end the turn for the Imperial Knights, scoring the full 5 points on no prisoners, and holding on to recover assets until the end of next turn. They will score 1 additional point for raised banners on their home objective. And with that, the Grey Knights are going to score the full 6 points on recover assets. At the end of the turn, Grey Knights are going to pick up Drago's squad, the Interceptor squad protecting Canis, and the Strike squad is also going to bamf out so they can go smash that subscribe button. Bottom of round 2 for the Grey Knights, they draw extend battle lines and no prisoners. In the command phase, Caldor Drago's squad will regenerate a Terminator as well as scoring 8 points on primary. Canis is going to pivot and use his movement to be able to shoot at the Warglaive and defend the objective. Nemesis Dread Knight is going to get line of sight on both Canis and the Castigator. NDK is going to move so its charge cannot be failed and still have line of sight on Canis. Caldor Drago's squad is going to come in 9 inches away from Canis and the Warglaive and attempt a 6-inch charge. Strike squad will come down to try to sticky Canis' objective. Interceptor squad stages behind the building, prepping for next turn. Grandmaster into Canis plinks off 1 wound. Regular NDK into the Castigator and fails to score a wound. Terminator squad into Canis Rex fails to score a wound. Strike squad into the Warglaive does 1 wound. Grey Canis fires into the Warglaive and takes it down. Terminator squad into Imperial Rex and they make the charge. Grandmaster Dread Knight makes its charge. NDK also makes its charge into the Castigator. Canis is battle shocked and cannot interrupt, so the Grandmaster NDK will go Super Saiyan on the Castigator. Ooh, and the Grandmaster, even with Feel No Pains, takes the Castigator down to 9 wounds remaining, just shy of bracketing it. Imperial Knights are going to spend 2 CP to interrupt, and the Castigator will fight into the NDK. Some fantastic invul saves means the NDK is only down to 10 wounds. Ooh, and the pair of NDKs do it, managing to destroy the Castigator. Terminators into Imperial Canis, and a lucky Feel No Pain leaves him at 1 wound, so he will get to crack back. Canis smashes the Terminators, leaving only 1 remaining thanks to a CP reroll on a save. That is going to end the turn for the Grey Knights, scoring 5 points for extend battle lines because Canis is battle shocked, and 4 points on no prisoners for destroying 2 mechs. They will score an additional 2 points for raising banners. At the end of the turn, Imperial Knights will score 3 points for recovering assets. Top of round 3, Imperial Knights draw Area Denial and Establish Locus as their secondaries. In the command phase, Canis Rex will pass his Battle Shock test, which means they can use his free stratagem to reduce the cost of Shoulder the Burden to 1, giving him +1 to all his stats to include leadership. And thanks to the Bannermen being dead now, leaving only the Narthasium, Canis will out-OC Caldor's squad on the center objective, scoring the Imperial Knight a 13 points on primary. The Red Warglaive is going to move around, still on the objective, but getting eyes on Grey Canis. Castigator is going to drift through the wall, passing its Battle Shock test and getting eyes on the Nemesis Dread Knight. Bone Warglaive is going to take its place on the objective, and the Helvern is going to move in to block Grey Canis and protect Imperial Canis. Imperial Canis fires into the Terminator squad, and its las cannon does the trick, taking down both the Terminators and Caldor Drago. Castigator into the NDK brings it down to 8 wounds remaining. Red Warglaive into Canis manages to knock off 3 wounds, bringing it down to 19. Helvern fires into Canis, failing to score a wound. That is going to do it for the Imperial Knights, scoring 2 points for establishing Locus with Canis, and the full 5 points for Area Denial after killing the Terminators. They will get 1 additional point for raising a banner in the northern objective. At the end of the turn, Grey Knights are just going to pick up the Interceptor squad. Bottom of round 3 for the Grey Knights, they are going to draw behind enemy lines and overwhelming force as secondaries. The start of the command phase, they are going to sticky the second objective and score 8 points for controlling their home objective and 1 in no man's land. Grandmaster NDK moves in on Canis, NDK, it's going to move its full 14 to get a good charge on both Canis and the Castigator. Grey Canis moves in on Imperial Rex, and the Interceptor squad are going to come in 9 inches away from the Warglaive. Grandmaster NDK is going to open fire on Imperial Rex. In response, Canis will use his free stratagem to rotate Ion Shields to try to weather the storm, and he survives. Regular NDK is going to fire the same thing, and the second NDK does it, taking down Canis, but Sir Hector is still alive, and they will not get credit for the kill until he goes down. Grey Canis does not have line of sight on Sir Hector, and so he will fire into the Helverin directly in front of him. Grey Canis makes short work of the Helverin. Sir Hector's lone op keeps him safe from the Interceptor squad, so they fire everything into the Red Warglaive, failing to score a wound. Interceptor squad is going to shoot and move, putting him behind cover and forcing the Warglaive off the objective if it wants to come after them. Moving on to charges, Canis fails to charge into Sir Hector, NDK makes its charge into the Castigator, and the Grandmaster fails its charge into the Castigator. NDK into the Castigator fails to take it down, managing to score only 2 wounds, but the Castigator strikes back with a vengeance and manages to do just enough to take the NDK down. That is going to end the turn for the Grey Knights, unfortunately not scoring overwhelming force thanks to Sir Hector, so they will discard that for a CP, but they will score the 3 points for behind enemy lines. The bottom of round 3, Grey Knights are trailing on primary, so they will select Unbroken Wall as their secret mission. Top of round 4 for the Imperial Knights, they will draw Storm Hostile Objective and Cleanse as their secondaries. Beginning of the command phase, they are now honored, so they will generate 3 additional CP, as well as having their 6 up Feel No Pain drop down to a 5 up Feel No Pain. They will score 8 on primary, owning their home objective as well as 1 in No Man's Land. Imperial Knights start by moving the Castigator, pivoting onto the center objective, both within range of Canis and the NDK. Grey Knights are going to spend 1 CP to Mist of Deimos the NDK. Sir Hector did not make enough on his advance to make it back to the home objective, so he is simply going to beat feet through the building towards the northern objective. So the Red Warglaive is going to remain guarding the home objective, but move so they have line of sight on Canis Rex. There's no kill like overkill, so the Bone Warglaive is going to position itself so it's within melt of range and in line of sight of Canis Rex. Grey Knights are going to spend 1 CP to rapid ingress the Grandmaster NDK. Start of the shooting phase, Imperial Knights are going to spend 1 CP for Squire's Duty, giving both Warglaives buffs hitting into Canis Rex. Red Warglaive fires into Canis Rex, managing 4 wounds. Bone Warglaive into Canis Rex and he makes his save. Castigator fires into Canis Rex, knocking him down to 4 wounds remaining. Moving on to charges, the Castigator makes its charge into Canis. Imperial Knights will spend 1 CP to Tank Shock, dealing an additional 5 mortal wounds to Canis. Imperial Knights are going to spend a command point as the Castigator hacks into Canis Rex, and that is going to be enough to take him down. He does not explode, but Sir Hector does manage to get outside of range from the Castigator. That is going to do it for the Imperial Knights. They will score 0 on Storm Hostile Objective and 0 on Cleanse, discarding both for 1 CP. At the end of the turn, Grey Knights are going to pick up the Strike Squad. Bottom of round 4 for the Grey Knights, they draw Cleanse and engage on all fronts as their secondaries. Start of the command phase, they will gain 8 points on primary, 3 for their home objective and 5 for 1 in No Man's Land. Start of the movement phase, the Grandmaster NDK is going to move in on the Warglaive. Interceptor squad is going to move so everyone has line of sight on the Warglaive and they're within 6 inches of the home objective. Sir Hector is going to bravely run away. And the Strike Squad is going to come back in, scoring behind enemy lines and hoping to kill Sir Hector. Strike Squad fires into Sir Hector and takes him down. Interceptor Squad fires into the Warglaive, failing to score a wound, but that does let them shoot and move, and they are all going to pile onto the objective. Grandmaster NDK into the Warglaive knocks off 5 wounds, leaving it with 7 remaining. NDK makes its charge into the Warglaive, and the Grey Knights are going to spend 1 CP to Tank Shock, scoring only 2 mortal wounds, and the Warglaive shrugs them both off with Feel No Pain. Grandmaster is going to go Super Saiyan, getting full rerolls in this combat. In a surprising show of resilience, the Warglaive takes only 3 wounds, falling down to 4. It is bracketed now, but manages to crack back and take the NDK down to 10 wounds remaining. That's going to be the end of the turn for the Grey Knights, scoring 2 points on engage on all fronts and discarding cleanse for a CP. Top of round 5 for the Imperial Knights. Secondaries for the turn are overwhelming force and assassination. Castigator passes its leadership test, but the Warglaive fails and is now battle shocked. Imperial Knights will score only 3 points on primary for owning the center objective. Movement phase, the Castigator will once again pivot and turn in on the NDK. Warglaive is going to turn around and get eyes on the strike squad. Since the Grandmaster NDK is engagement range, the Grey Knights are going to spend 1 CP to pick up the strike squad. Castigator fires into the NDK and fails to score a wound. It is suppressed. Imperial Knights are going to spend 1 CP on Squire's duty, targeting the NDK with the Warglaive. Warglaive takes the NDK down to 2 wounds remaining. The Castigator makes its charge into the NDK, and Imperial Knights have chosen not to tank shock. Castigator hacks and slashes its way down and kills the NDK. That is going to allow it to consolidate onto the objective, out OCing the strike squad, taking the objective back from the Grey Knights. That is going to end the turn for the Imperial Knights, scoring them 3 points for overwhelming force and the full 5 points for assassination. At the end of the Imperial Knights turn, the Grey Knights are going to pick up the Interceptor squad. Bottom of round 5, Grey Knights draw Defend, Stronghold, and Assassination as their secondaries. They'll spend 1 CP to cycle Assassination and draw Bring It Down. Due to selecting a secret mission, they will score only 4 points on primary. Movement phase, Sir Hector is going to continue to wander the wasteland alone, contemplating life. And of course, based 100% in skill, the Bone Warglaive managed to block out the 3-inch deep strike on the objective it's sitting on. Grey Knights are going to spend 1 CP on Prognostic Arrival to arrive within 3 inches, putting all 5 strike squad on the objective, equaling the Castigator. Unfortunately, that means none of them have line of sight to throw a grenade. There's no room for the Inceptors to be able to see, to shoot, and then move 6 inches onto the objective, so they are simply going to get line of sight. The Interceptors will fire into the Castigator and fail to do enough damage to bracket it, which means the objective is still contested and the Grey Knights are unable to score their secret mission. They will score an additional 3 points for Defend Stronghold. This will make the final score 65-56 in favor of the Imperial Knights. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far in the video, please do consider dropping a sub. And until next time, as always, happy gaming.